Hey, everyone. Welcome to Friday's Blue Gamer Bluecast. Morning. You know what? I'm not supposed to have this chair in view. Move that out of the way. There we go. Um, I had a busy morning. Crazy week. But it is Friday. We are here. Hopefully, I can relax, maybe play some games. Because that's what I haven't been. Well, actually, I have been playing games, but in certain contexts, I'll talk about that here shortly. But anyway, yeah, I hope everyone's had a good week. Again, it is Friday. What's up, Edamame? Good to see you. Um, so yeah, where do we start? A bunch of interesting things have been going on in terms of gaming related. I mean, there's a lot of things outside the personal life, things going on. Oh, so much. But yeah, when it comes to games, I think this week, news I think is generally pretty slow. There's a lot of reasons for that. We did get that GTA 6 Netflix trailer and gameplay that was shown, I guess, on YouTube. Also, I haven't even watched it. I kind of don't care too much. I did see some clips of someone talking about it. Looks cool. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna try it out. I probably won't even beat the game. I've never. I've played all the GTA's, but they never really hold me too long. So yeah, but we'll see. So I guess that's what I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of just news around that. There's the Gamescom stuff, but I don't think anything that has been announced at Gamescom is anything particularly crazy or interesting. I think it just in gaming right now, it's just a weird time, and that's why it's interesting that at that same time I'm doing the game dev stuff, and a few updates on that with Epic Space Battles. That's coming out September 30th. Still gives me. Should I release it? No, I want to hype it up some more because I want to start. Now that I've added multiplayer, record multiplayer battles with me and someone else talking as we're doing it. Just to kind of give an idea of the kind of the chill, fun nature of it's kind of weird that it is almost like a cozy chill game, but it's also 4,000 spaceships. And it's an interesting concept. I even have trouble describing it to people. But yeah, that, and then, I've so Mech Annihilation, that one, I consider that one nearly done. There's more of the polish, but a lot of that polish I think is harder than what initially I put together. So that might be something I do like a early access release on itch. And then from that maybe get feedback and see what I build that into. It's just interesting. Mech Annihilation is a good example of when I had an idea, I started working on it, and then I just let the scope just get ahead of me, and it became too big, but it's actually pretty awesome. It's just, it now requires so much more polish that it's going to take a while. So I think I'm going to do early access, and start working on it, polishing it up. The other one, the shmup, this is pretty interesting. I can show you guys something here, but it's still very early. So I love the shmup I've made, but not to distribute it, because it's more like I've proven, okay, I can do the mechanics, make the mechanics I want, build out the levels that I want. And I even think the visuals are pretty cool, but I don't think the visuals are good enough. So, hey, Goku1398 or Ian, nice new picture there. That's pretty cool. More like a proof of concept, Edamame. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. And so, I was like, okay, well, what would I? There's multiple things I think about when I'm making games. It's one, what is something I would enjoy? What is something that also stands out? So let me show you guys what I've done with the shmup. I took the shmup project. It still exists, but then I refactored it into another project that is full 3D, like Star Fox. So check this out. I still have to work on the aiming and all that. It's a little too fast, and it has this weird boundary that I got to fix. This is where if I was a if no, that's the wrong way to put it. If I was a programmer in the first place, I could probably fix this pretty easily. Um, but I'm not, so I have to kind of tweak it. But anyway, yeah, you got the barrel rolls going on. Although I kind of, it's not exactly. And it's funny, when I was first building this, it was working right. But once you start tweaking, is when things start falling apart. I love the way this model turns out. This is based on the exact same texture for the fighter used in epic space battles. I just took it and I made a profile and a rear and a front view, and then I had Tripo AI, if you're familiar with that. It's a 3D program, turn it into a 3D model. Yeah, this is really just to get a cool, like, little. Anyway, there's a lot that I would need to do, but I feel like this would be more interesting for an audience than the shmup. And for the shmup, I would love to find it actually an artist. I think that's the main takeaway with the shmup. It's like, yeah, anyone can make a shmup, but I want the atmosphere, the art to be cool. Whereas there's not many Star Fox likes. We had Wild Blue come out, which I feel like it's too much like Star Fox. I was just playing another level the other day, and it's pretty much the same level of Star Fox. It's crazy. And then X Zodiac is fun, but that's very much an SNES Star Fox. So my plan is maybe I can do like, what is a real modern Star Fox, not just remaking Star Fox. So one of it is, and you could tell it barely has any movement, but it's where you collect other fighters to move along with you, and you can change their formations based on the battles ahead. And the other thing too is I want, while I would love ground levels where you see the ocean, where you see grass, whatever, I do want a lot of space levels and have the debris and ships on the side, but actually make it seem like it's going like faster than this. Just for the visibility of thinking like you're just a pilot with a squad going fast. Anyway. This is pretty, oh yeah, the missile button, I forgot. Yeah, so you could, that's, see, here's a thing that happens sometimes with AI. I think I need to be very deliberate with describing positioning in relation to things, because as it was fixing, it used to do when I would go left or right, it would go the wrong way. Now that I'm shooting the missile, it's also doing the same thing. It's supposed to just go straight, but now yeah. And those little things that you'll then learn how to properly communicate with the agent when you're. It's just like if I was if I was developing and I was actually typing it in, and then I typed the wrong thing in. I mean, it's the same sort of thing. You want it to have its own identity. Yeah, that is true. So for that shmup, the actual shmup, even though I think it's cool that it's based on epic space battles and I have those assets, as I would play it, I was like, this isn't flashy enough for a vertical shmup. So it's done technically, just not visually. So that might be a good example of then something I should just release on itch, actually. So I've just come to that conclusion. I am going to, and there's only a little bit I need to do actually for Razor Squadron, and then I'm just going to put it on itch. Okay, cool. So let's pull up some other stuff here real quick. Okay, what I've been playing, nothing. Here's, on the 26th where I jumped into Wild Blue Skies, and I was talking about, it's like a Star Fox, like, it is so much, it's like they pretty much just copied, and I'm talking about mechanically, structurally. Yeah, sure, it's animals, too, that are piloting, but the gameplay's even more, and the level design's even more of a copy. And that's really it. I've mainly been playing not only the games I've been showing you guys, but something else that's pretty cool. I don't really have anything to show for it, but for Gundam Unicorn on PS3, you know what I realized? I was supposed to shut off some background rendering, and I didn't. But the stream is still going fine. So if you guys do notice the stream's acting up, let me know. Because for my Gundam Explain channel, I figured out a way through AI, but it's not AI doing it. It's more of I had AI write the script for me. It could go in natively through Windows and convert my whole library of Gundam Explained videos to a smaller size. That's just helpful for me for computer space, but also when I upload it to this, on Gundam Explained, it's been doing a 24/7 stream, but I only had like 8 hours of content or something like that. But I actually have 8 days worth. So once I slim it down, I could throw it all up there. But anyway, that's running in the background right now. And Edamama, yeah, the FromSoft Unicorn game. So yeah, PS3 using AI to help me translate pretty much. So as I'm playing this Unicorn game, I can see what it's telling me to do because it's really involved. So then now I'm doing that with the Side Stories Missing Link that came out on PS3. But even better is I'm able to do a modification on the game that allows you to unlock on. And I was actually just testing it before this stream. In fact, I actually might show it here in a second. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, then I'll have to mess with later. Okay. Because I'm doing research to figure out best way to apply this non-lock on. My thought is you click the right thumbstick in to delock on. Because in Missing Link, once you lock onto a character, the entire rest of the map you can only play by you kill one, it locks onto another, or you change, but that's not fun to move around in your mobile suit if you're constantly locked on. So that'll be something that I'll kind of be messing with. Using overlay program that translate. Oh yeah, that's another good way to do it. That's another good way. But yeah, I'm going to have this as a patch, and I think Monday I will release it for everybody. And it's more of like it's a test, I guess. And I'm going to create a form so as people are playing it, and if they find things that need to be fixed, fill it out, and then I'll fix it. And I'm going to do the same thing with the Side Stories. Okay, let's jump into some news. I don't know if I have too much. So, yeah, we had that extended preview of Grand Theft Auto 6, and again, I don't really care too much about it. I will say the graphics look great. But again, sometimes it almost looks like these knockoff like life sims that come out of China. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's like they're leaning a lot into that to keep people on the platform. So they're saying the Series X will almost certainly be locked to 30 FPS. So I'm curious about, okay, Rockstar's game says that the extended preview was captured on PS5, although we've not seen any definitive confirmation of whether it was a base PS5 or a PS5 Pro. I find that very interesting. Yeah, the idea is to not expect 30 FPS. So that's the thing. You release a game in 30 FPS, a very popular game. People are going to buy it anyway. And then when it comes out on another platform and it's 60 FPS, people are going to buy it anyway. I mean, for as much as I don't care about Grand Theft Auto, I'm in the gaming scene. I bought, Grand Theft Auto 5 when it came out on PS3. And I think it was PS3. And I want to say it was me and my brother at the time. I remember we both bought it. And then it was shortly after that the new consoles came out. And then they eventually had their new versions. So, hey, James Killex, good to see you. Okay, what are some other things? The Xbox Series S will be pushed to its limits. I mean, sure. Yeah, it's crazy that it's going to be on an S, actually. I wouldn't mind if I come across an S to pick it up. I love capable hardware that could do multiple things. I think it really started with the PS3 and Xbox 360. Just because of how you can access it and its online capabilities. And then anything after that, like I would love to have a PS4 again. It's just I have a PS5, so I don't need to, but it would be nice just to have it around. Like we have a Xbox One. Yeah, just an Xbox One X, yeah, upstairs in the bedroom. And what's cool about that is there's still games that developers come out with on Xbox One. In fact, I think that latest Aliens Fireteam 2 was Xbox One. When I registered for Epic Space Battles to be on the Xbox platform, I did select Xbox One. I would love to have it on the older tech. Okay, Xbox preloads. So this is probably for everything. The preloads officially begin on November 12th, including for physical copies, which I guess that's when you get the code from outside the store. So again, this is in November. You know, man, this is going to be the talk, and I hope. Here's what I hope. I hope there are some new revelatory things that come out of Grand Theft Auto that might shape the industry in a positive way. I kind of don't think so. I kind of think this is the extreme version of milking all business practices. Not that that's inherently bad, but it could affect the, like, again, when mobile games came out, then all companies thought, oh, we have to cater to that market. And they didn't. That's why EA is where they are right now, and Activision and all that. But at the same time, when this comes out, if there's nothing about it that's, industry changing, I hope then the talk just dies down. And man, but that's what's hard about being, I think, a gamer like myself that's into the hobby as much as I am, and the lack of interesting video game conversations online. Because I was just going through my head just now thinking of, for the gaming creators I follow, I do this for news, commentary, etc., to keep up to date. They so lean, like Spawn Wave the past few months has just been, it's either about GTA 6 or it's about PlayStation Physical or so, and it's like no one is really talking about interesting things that are going on. So anyway, that's why I'm hoping talk about this dies when it comes out, if it's not doing anything crazy. If it is, I'm down for that discussion. So US Blockbuster sale is now live on Nintendo eShop. I clicked this. I didn't even. Okay, so the reason this is cool is because I've noticed recently there's been a lot more sales on the Switch and Switch 2, and deeper sales. Let's see, interesting. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim. Normally $28.99, which is a weird price on sale for $23.19. That is a good price, good game. I played this year. Excellent game. Interesting that there's two different versions. Look at this, Tales of Arise, $34.99. That actually seems pretty good. I'm just gonna scan to see if it's like, is there something exclusive or something that is. Let me filter it to Switch too. I mean, Skyrim could be cool. Red Dead Redemption. Let's see, but I'm not really seeing anything that stands out. Cosmic Invasion would be a good Switch game. I have it on 360, or I said 360 on Xbox, so not a big deal. Skate Story, that's pretty cool. Yeah, nothing too crazy, actually. All right, what's this? The entire supply chain is collapsing. Xbox disk drive situation gets more awkward. So I'm curious about this just because we know from Sony, they had their factory they were using to produce their discs. And then it makes you think, okay, then what about other companies that produce discs? And from what I understand, most of these disc manufacturers were holdouts for Microsoft and Sony. Microsoft hasn't really put its mark on the debate, although sources tell me it's less about the discs and more about the disk drives themselves. The entire supply chain for the components required to make optical disk drives is collapsing, with assembly lines pivoting away from the tech as users actively opt for digital only. And that is the interesting takeaway here, is that, and this was an interesting discussion on X yesterday when, and I guess this is a big deal. I hadn't really announced it, where Xbox has announced details for its plan that starts this weekend for disc to digital, that you put a disc in your console and then it becomes part of your library. You don't even need the disc anymore. It's just that if someone else is to use that disc, then it gets transferred over. So it works like you would expect a real disc to work, right? It just has this sort of cloud-based way of tracking. But even if you're offline, you could play. It's different with the Nintendo key cards because apparently you need the online component in order to switch. So It's very interesting, and I guess the point I was getting with that is people, the game key cards seem to be doing fine, which again, and that was almost like Nintendo's way of bridging that gap. It's like, well, the consumer habits are changing, so let's just use this game key card system that almost like is a visual representation, or physical representation of your online account library. And people are fine. Well, people are complaining about it, but still, it sells fine for Nintendo. So Nintendo knows, oh, people are fine with this. Xbox is trying to do it a little differently, where it can still be used offline. Um, and it's funny. People on Twitter are like, didn't they think that people would then go sell their games at GameStop? It's like, well, of course. Not only are they obviously thinking about this, but they thought about this back in 2013 when this was originally going to be the plan for disc games, which Xbox might have ushered in something better if people were willing to accept it. And that's the thing. I think that at that time, Microsoft was more listening to the social media instead of the market, which is a mistake companies have been making for the past decade or so. I think what this does is it gives more of a reason to have a physical library, just because some of the inconveniences of a physical library is taking out the disc, putting it back in. It could wear down. You might have your stuff already put on the shelf in a certain way. You don't want to go and take stuff down. I mean, those are little inconveniences, but I guess this is just another example of not only Microsoft being pro-consumer in a way, but also this bridging of, there are some holdouts, the people that still really have that association with a physical game. Since that's going to be going out, let's just put this in place anyway. And I think that's great. Xbox, first announced this in 2013. People pushed back. They're like, okay. And now when people are looking for an alternative, Microsoft's like, guys, this is what we had in place. Now we can just put it out there. And it's so interesting. It is very interesting that Xbox isn't mainstream. So they do have this pressure to do pro-consumer things, whereas Sony doesn't. Sony doesn't really have any pressure to do pro-consumer things. Sony, especially their PlayStation brand, is super mainstream. I mean, if you want to talk about something that's mainstream about Microsoft, it's Windows when it comes to their main market. But Sony, PlayStation. PlayStation's like, oh, we're going to go buy a PlayStation? It's like Nintendo. You're going to go buy, and you say the same thing with Xbox. But, PlayStation has that thing to it, so it, you would think, oh, well, PlayStation 2 added a DVD drive that's very pro-consumer. Well, that was kind of a Trojan horse just for them to be able to have, their... It's funny because it's like they're manufacturing for the discs anyway, so they're pushing the format that they're going to make money off people buying anyway. And then as soon as they don't need to do that anymore, again, that's why it's like PlayStation is following the market. But the main gamers, and I keep going back to Spawnwave because I think he's a good example of this, where they take the Sony's business decisions at face value when there is a reason for that, and there's a market reason for that. But then, these YouTubers will just make videos complaining about it, not understanding where the market is. And once you have a better understanding of where the market is and what people want, I mean, yeah, sure, maybe you yourself prefer something, but then we need to promote those boutique sort of initiatives, Anyway, I could talk about this forever. And kind of just to get back to this, actually, okay. Well, Play sources tell us that not only is it becoming harder for Microsoft to source Blu-ray disc drives, but the amount of disc manufacturing facilities is also declining. The existence of the program does lend more evidence to the idea that Helix will be an all-digital console. That makes this program a much-needed stepping stone. Yeah, bridge, stepping stone. And I guess it's what I'm trying to get at here is like, even though this is a very pro-consumer move, it's not that they're saying, oh, no, we're bringing back physical. It's like, look, people have invested a lot into physical. Let's set you up so you can continue to invest into an ecosystem in the future. I mean, think about that. Think about people can just buy up Xbox games, attach them to their account, and then just, put them up somewhere. But have that flexibility and be prepared for, like, let's say the Helix comes out and there is no disk drive on it. And it could be an add-on, which could make sense because then they can make limited supplies, or they make it where you buy it through them, just like the 360 did that with the hard drive transfer cable, and the PlayStation 4 did that with the VR connector, where there had to be a separate accessory used for legacy stuff, but you would order it straight from the manufacturer. Although I do think the transfer cable for Microsoft might have, no, I don't know, because I think you can get it used at GameStop. But anyway, yeah, let me go back here. Jim Killex, I've been getting the Switch 1 version for games that keycard on Switch 2, or just get plain digital if it's not available. Yeah, I've been thinking about that lately. Like, if Star Fox on Switch 2 is all on the cart, which I think it is, I should probably go get that. I do have Kirby and Metro, and that's the thing. I will buy physical when I think it makes sense. Like, I wouldn't mind getting physical for Switch more often, just due to storage, especially if the game is already on the card. I mean, that's actually something to look up. It's like, okay, new game's coming out. Is it on the card? Then I'm gonna get that. Yeah, wasn't it? I think it was Metroid Prime 4 when I was like looking at space of things to remove. I was like, oh, that doesn't take up anything. It's like, oh, wait a minute, that's just the stuff downloaded for the Switch because I have the card. It's very interesting. All right, let me show you guys something else real quick. How am I gonna do this? I want to show you this really, really cool game that I've already beaten, but I think now that I could potentially get it translated and change the lock-on, I could make this game amazing and do a whole new run-through on the Gundam Explained channel of it. And I want to show you guys what I mean when I want to, like, fix the lock-on. And then as you see, too, you can look at, yeah, Jam Kill, it's missing a link. Yeah, and then you can see as you go to everything that's Japanese that I would be changing to English. So press start button's always English, but like right here. Oh, I love the music in this. Every song, like I know every, oh wait, no. See, like all this is Japanese. By the end of the day, all of this is going to be English. And my plan is, I'll be releasing, see, this is English. That's funny. I'll be releasing this patch with the Unicorn patch, I think by Monday maybe, and it'll be like on my Blue Gamer Productions website, just so it seems more, like, to make me seem more credible, I guess. I don't know. I just like that stuff's available for people. But yeah, this would be translated. This would be translated. This would be translated. Yeah, and also, too, it's like once I get this translated and Unicorn translated, I really want to dissect both of these games because I feel like these were the last sort of bigger budget or fully realized 3D Gundam games. Okay, so here you go. So when you start the mission, you're not locked onto anything. So this game is capable of that. Man, I wonder what other modifications I can make just to make this awesome. So, oh man, this game is so cool. So like if I wanted to lock on, so real quick, I'm just seeing how far you can like play without locking on. It's just harder. So if I am to lock on, you press RB, right? There you go. You kill him. And then it locks on to another guy, which is okay. But like if I didn't want to be locked on, it's like when it comes to like choosing your target, you it's like, okay, let me turn that way. Okay, and you can do it that way. But it is annoying. So let's say I'm running over here and I forget I'm locked on, it will turn around when I shoot. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So the idea is you can click R3 at any time. And it's not implemented yet, but you can click R3 at any time. So then I could just run up to this guy and oh no, it turned around. You know, I can just run up to this guy and yeah. Oh yeah. So that's the other thing. That was where it became a bigger issue because I would be in the middle of combat and all those explosions are happening, and then I'm like shooting, and then all of a sudden the camera changes all the way around because it locked on to. Oh, I love that he pulled out that. Like, how badass is that? This is like what the Gundam movie should have in it. Okay, there's. Okay. Oh yeah, special. Although that's out, isn't it? How'd you run away? Oh, look at the poses. Like, they've got this nailed. Okay. Anyway, that's it for that. Oh, this obviously would also be all... hopefully I'm closing this. That would all be translated and everything. I can't wait. So... Anyway, guys, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to finish up working on that. So not only working on... Oh, I've been needing to final start G Generation just because somebody should stores... Oh, yeah, dude. GMKillX, good point. Like, G Generation Genesis is such a good game to get a quick, like, let's run through what this story was. Let's run through what this story was. It's allowed me to remember those things in my head. So, yeah, I'm going to be working on the translations, finishing up Unicorn today, finishing up side stories, and then yeah, working on my other stuff. So guys, hope you have a good weekend. I'll be back Monday with maybe some more cool stuff. Yeah, my birthday's actually Sunday. It's just with everything going on, I just haven't really been thinking too much about it. So all right guys, I'm gonna head out. Have a good one. Talk to you later.